Files in the building also. Okay. Taskmaster, since you just popped in here and you weren't a fan of the gender swap as you left a comment. Excuse me. I hope that didn't sound too loudly. I hit my mic. The Taskmaster story. Okay. This is him. Origins in the first Avengers issue number. It doesn't say, does it? It'll say if I open the book. But this guy shows up on the scene and he's a man from Jump. There's no mystery of whether or not he's male. There's not even a mystery whether or not his skin is white. Here he is giving his upbringing. He's like, yo, I used to watch TV, and then I translated that to the football field. You see the skin color of Taskmaster there? The skin color of him creating the rope also when he was younger. This is a white man, Taskmaster is. This guy's white. That's the thing with him. He's also a male. Did they do something wrong by gender swapping him into this woman? His name is really Anthony. They called her Antonia. The short answer is yes. They did something, in my opinion, that is wrong, which is switching what the guy's appearance is from a comic book and making him something different. Taskmaster something different. However, they're not continuing with Taskmaster. This is not going to be a long project with Taskmaster. It's not going to be in phase 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. I doubt. I really think this is just a one and done. Same way they do, I don't know, name any character that's just, they swapped just for the sake of it. He's minuscule. He's not a main event player. They don't have plans for him the same way for Taskmaster, the same way that there's plans for Red Guardian, which I believe there's something there with Yelena Belova, whose original comic I also got. Guys, the True Believer comics for $1, where you can get the origins of these guys. Like, they always release them at the comic book stores for $1 full. Maybe I should just do this with my head. This is not cooperating though. The True Believers comics come clutch, and they teach me everything I need to know before a film comes out, and then Marvel can race swap or gender swap or do whatever they want to do. But I don't have a real issue with it because of just how much Taskmaster was used. If this was the forefront of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, yeah, let's keep it consistent. I wouldn't want Riri Williams, who's going to be in Iron Man. I mean, she's going to be in Ironheart. She's going to be in Armor Wars. Who knows where else she shows up? Rumors that she'll show up in Black Panther, but they're rumors. I do need these people to be consistent if there's going to be long-term plans. Speaking of rumors, how many times did I hear Yelena is going to be the new Black Widow? That's her thing. That's what this movie is about. Boo, I'm loyal to Natasha. F Yelena. Nah, 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 nah. That wasn't what happened here in this film at all. The furthest from it. Yelena's her own individual. She's got feelings for Natasha as a family member who she grew up with until she was 6 years old, which is basically everything you can ever remember in the history of your life. She remembers Natasha as a sister. That's who she goes to when she needed help with the Red Room. What's going on, Mike Porter? There will be spoilers in the Black Widow chat. But I saw you on Trinity's stream, so I know you watched the film. With Yelena and the rumors that she'll be the new Black Widow, that didn't happen. I'm so glad that didn't happen, because now with every fear-mongering scare tactic that the SJW enforcement are going to be giving you guys on YouTube. They're trying to replace. Yelena was never called the Black Widow. I mean, there's a system. There is an organization in the Red Room that creates widows, but we already knew that was the thing. So I'm really not, bugged by it. Whoa, 3 comments just popped up at once. What's going on, Exar Kun? What's going on, Raffaele says, I'm sure if they bring Natasha back Marvel style, some people will say 800 they brought back Natasha. Oh, that's a B. Some people will say, boo, they brought back Natasha. I'm not going to be one of them people. I keep telling you guys, soul for a soul. We don't know what happens when Steve returns the Soul Stone at Vormir. Natasha may just come back, and she may be in the hiding, because real influence comes from the background. She may take a play out of the playbook of Dreykov and become this influential person in the background. Maybe call up Nick Fury and be like, hey, you got this sword thing going on? I'm pretty sure that this character is still alive as long as Scarlett Johansson wants to sign back. If things go haywire, this character death is reversible. And it's not even like a BS reversible one. Like if Dreykov, we saw him die, right? He was in the jet, boom, fireball, gravity, he's dead. If he were to come back, I'd be like, that's some bullshit. But this one, they can bring back Natasha and I'd be okay with it. Yeah. I hear you, Exar, not my taskmaster, but so are you not gonna watch the film or are you gonna pirate the film? Is that what you're saying? Or will you wait for it to be free on Disney Plus? Like will you just not watch it at all? Because that's a stance I took for something that I believed in so strongly, Rise of Skywalker. I pirated that movie because Last Jedi stole my money. And then when I watched Rise of Skywalker, I said, I'll never watch this thing again. The less I remember, the better. It's been 2 years since that decision. And I'm happier for it. Oh, Mike says, I've seen it twice. Yeah, me too. I've seen it twice too. So, but you seen it in the theaters twice, didn't you? Ooh. I thought you were going to say way better the second time. The first time I thought it was a 7. The circumstances which I watched it in 3 a.m. When the second time I watched it, I was like, okay, this is a good movie. 8 out of 10. I want the dead characters to stay dead, keep the impact and stakes. I can't argue that. Don't kill them unless they're going to stay dead. That's a good policy. There's going to be a few exceptions, like fake deaths. I'm not mad at Loki appearing to die in Thor Dark World, but by the end of the movie, they let us know he's just being a trickster and he's back in control as Odin at the end of the film. That's fine with me. I've never had an issue with something like that. But when a death is permanent and we leave the cinema knowing a character is dead, you can only do that so many times, Marvel. You just did it with Loki in a way roundabout. Oh, they know the loopholes very well. Raffaele says, I would be fine either way. My point is, just so I remember, you said fine either way. I don't even know what we were talking about. Either way what? My point is, you're too foreign to speak that way, my friend. You cannot assimilate to the slang of English-speaking native countries when you say, bitch is gonna bitch. Either if Yelena is new Black Widow or if Nat returns the mantle. My favorite word. That's a trigger word, mantle. It's not something, not every character is a mantle, but yeah. There is red widows. There's other different colors of widows that I know about in Marvel. When Yelena pops up on the scene, her first thing she goes, "Hey, Natasha, I'm the new Black Widow." She actually replaces her in the very first issue of her. When did this comic come out? From the artwork, it looks like it came out year 2000. She comes on the scene and claims herself as the new Black Widow, and it's the first time they've ever met. She's never met Yelena. There's no family history in the actual comic book story. Natasha's kind of being spied on by Yelena, and where do I go from here? Yeah, Yelena goes on the plane that Natasha was on, pretends to be one of the flight. What do you call these people? The flight people. They're usually women. And locks up the actual one, and then she is stalking Natasha. Okay. You won't watch it at all. Cryptid says, gonna see the movie in theaters a second time tonight. You might think about just getting it on Premiere Access. If you liked it that much, you'll see it more than once. Premiere Access. I've watched the Clone Wars film more than I watched Captain Marvel or the sequels. So I guess Clone Wars is a bad film. I liked it, but I've only seen it maybe twice. Maybe 3 times, actually. Wasn't she White or Red Widow in the comics? Yelena? Red Widow is the Russian one who's in the Winter Guard, like as of today. Right? That's Red Widow. And she's like the last graduate. If she becomes White Widow, I'm not familiar with that story, but that could be a thing. White Widow? Maybe it is. It's not the first time I heard White Widow. Let's talk about the movie some more. So I'm a theater guy all the way. Like comic shops, I gotta support the businesses in my area. Yeah, that's a noble thing. That You're not going wrong over there. And plus, just the experience. You'll be able to watch it on Disney Plus in 3-4 months from now when it's on there for regular price, for free, for the subscription. So you'll never be able to watch it in cinema with people who've never seen it before to hear what the oohs and the ahs are. Are they gonna laugh at the joke about Natasha? Why do you always pose? You do like this. You're such a poser. My accent was pretty good, wasn't it? But like, there's going to be jokes like that which are only going to be funny the first time. Get to see it in front of people who are seeing it for the first time, hearing it for the first time. That's a cool experience. As much as we shit on the fanboys, it's just those guys who clap when they laugh. Those are so annoying. So annoying, guys. You're putting on for everyone else. You're here. You probably came to theaters alone. You're like, that's funny. Ah, ha, 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 ha. I actually don't understand why aren't more people upset about Red Guardian being such a comical side character and not getting a bit more action. Maybe because he's not famous. He's not as popular as the Taskmaster is. I don't think he has that much staying power. Taskmaster is the villain of Spidey. And remember, we just got a refresher of Taskmaster in the Spider-Man video game. Taskmaster is also a villain of everybody. Like, he mentions Daredevil in this comic that I was just reading. He mentions he's got a shield like Captain America, Black Widow. Like, there's just he had his own comic book called Taskmaster. Red Guardian has never had his own like Soviet Red Guardian comic book, I don't believe. So what's it called? Like, it's not the same level of care. Therefore, no one's going to be as mad that Red Guardian was made to be a joke. He is a joke in the movie. He's a joke, and there's no plans to do stuff with Red Dynamo because they wouldn't have mentioned Red Dynamo. Oh, Crimson Dynamo. Maybe Ursa, the big bear, that little 30-year-old actor who they signed so he can lose an arm wrestling match. Maybe there's something planned for him as a mutant. He'll just get mutant powers and he'll bump into the Red Guardian one more time and fight off Alexei. That could be something that we're looking forward to in a Disney Plus or a Marvel film somewhere down the line. Because when you cast somebody young like that in their 30s to do a job of being bulky and super and stuff, it's because you have plans. It's because you believe this man will still have and maintain that physique 3 years from now when we give him a call. He'll be 33. His body will still be able to metabolize and hit. He can hit the gym. He can perform the feats and look the part. So that casting wasn't for nothing. I think there might be plans for the future with Ursa Major. People that clap when the plane lands. I was talking to somebody at wrestling training, and he joked that someone beside him said, "This is stupid. Do they clap at your job?" And then he's like, "Because when you wrestle, you get applause." I want to see what quips Yelena has when she meets U.S. agents. Ooh. Yeah, she might hate that guy. And if they're in the same camp as the Thunderbolts girl, Madam Hydra girl, if they're in the same camp, yeah, I can see some quips coming. Honestly, when I see Red Guardian, I kept thinking, is this what could happen to Old Man Walker? I don't know. Hey, look who's in the chat. I watched your hour-long review just recently. I was watching you talking about it, and I'm like, yeah. What was the big thing that stuck out to me? Whatever it was, I wrote a comment about it. So I forget what it was. Sorry, Trinity, but you said something that made me go, hey, I have an opinion on it. Cryptid goes, I liked what they did with Red Guardian. I always wanted to get more into him in the comics. You liked what they did with him? He didn't come off as a guy who, this performance, this character I want to get into. Particularly with against Captain America, but he's always been more of a Black Widow villain. Right now, in our favorite Jason Aaron, in his Avengers, he's gonna reappear there because, man, Jason Aaron, he thinks he's like so good. Remember issue 10 of Avengers, which was actually the 700th issue of Avengers? Remember how Jason Aaron put like, first we're gonna touch on this story with the Russians, and then the Avengers from a billion years ago, and there's this be the Phoenix story and the Khonshu story. You guys are gonna love, and he like mapped it out where the artist drew everything with the Star Brand baby and everything he was going to touch. Yeah. Nah. Are you still reading Jason Aaron's Avengers? Because I stopped Cryptid. Everyone subscribe to Second Street Marvel. Ahoy, mateys and mermaids. What's going on? You can subscribe to CapN Comics also. Thanks for joining me in this YouTube live spoiler review discussion of the film Black Widow. It took us a whole year to get this thing, and it should have came out during Phase 3. If this movie was hurt actually by stick to Donny Cates and Jonathan Hickman, that's where it's at. Good reader, good reading. Donny Cates, Jonathan Hickman, anything their name is on a Marvel comic, you'll be satisfied with. Al Ewing is another guy who respects and honors continuities. Nowadays, if you're trying to get into comics, guys, it's about the writer more so than it is about the character. Red Guardian in the movie just seemed like another side to Cap, but less so than how War Machine was a side to Iron Man. Red Guardian still had his own personality and whole everything. He was a poster boy who never made a name for himself other than being a poster boy. Yeah, and Ursula called him out when he said that, bro, you were not even... He was still in ice. How could you have fought in Captain America? Why are you so obsessed with this guy? So you think Ross, in the ending of the movie, let Ross catch her and negotiate for the rest of the Avengers' release? No, I don't think so. I think that with Red Room data, or she slipped away again. Yeah, I think she slipped away again. I don't think that... she outsmarted Thunderbolt Ross. There was no negotiations there. That could easily be explained in a line that Thunderbolt Ross gives in a future film or series, but it doesn't even need explaining. Thanos snapped his fingers, and then all of that stuff just went away. Like, no one cares about, oh, you're in violation of Sokovian Accords. I was going to say that this is a Phase 3 film that I would love to have seen in Phase 3. The timing of when it was released shouldn't hurt my film score. Knowing score as in the grading of it, like I gave it an 8. Knowing that nothing can happen to Natasha, she's not going to die. Knowing that she will find herself with Sam and Steve right before Infinity War. Her fate was set, and so the stakes of this film, like, I never actually thought she'd die when she was driving, gets hit by a missile. You got me with the shock value of her getting hit by a missile when everything was good. She was listening to Sia on the radio. Come on, get your radio. So they got me with shock, but they never tried to make me feel like she's going to die. They just showed how Taskmaster didn't even try to kill her. Taskmaster just said, I'm going to go for those vials. So it was a good and responsible with the amount of time we thought that her fate was at stake. This movie's trailers, I'll get to that in a second. Let me read more of your comments. You say, although I want to know what a Russian person thinks of Red Guardian in the movies. Like, did Marvel represent your country, Captain America? Yeah, let's ask a native Russian. Now I have Trinity's song stuck in my head. It should have been a Budapest film. Why? What do you mean? Like, Marvel doesn't do that. They don't just stay in one country. This is Marvel. You know how many markets they got to advertise to? No, I'm happy that they did more than just stay in Budapest. Norway got touched on. Budapest, Hungary, Russia, and then some time in Ohio in America. The trailers. The Red Room, great introduction to the Red Room. It's in the sky. If it's nighttime, and in the trailers, I saw that Natasha was skydiving and landing on the debris in air, and it was daytime, then I knew, okay, I can see where the film is going. I made that connection in my head. And so there was never too much suspense on what was going to happen. I knew this place was going to self-destruct, and that hurt my enjoyment of the film. Not the fault of the film, the fault of the people who cut and edit trailers, and the fault of my ass for thinking about what scenes take place at night, what scenes take place in the early morning. The trailers gave away the scene where she was pointing her gun at her clone twin Yelena, her little sister, and they swap guns. Great scene. But when they were fighting with the curtains, choking each other out, holding one another, truce. Okay, truce. That's the best part of that scene. And so that's a responsible way to actually show me the beginning of a trailer without the beginning of a scene and not giving out the best part. The trailers hurt this movie by giving away too much from the end. They're trying to sell the movie. I understand what that's like. Plus, there was 2 media rounds that they did, trailers and interviews of this film. So they actually did give away more than possible, more than they should have. And I watched the teaser trailer and the official trailer from last year, and then I watched the new trailer they did this year. So I got a lot of footage that I didn't want. You guys want to talk about? Before I introduce you a new topic. Exar says, what happened in Budapest with Hawkeye? They might have had to hire Jeremy Renner, and they didn't want to do that. Can you imagine? This is supposed to be her movie. Why are there other Avengers? Can you imagine that? I was satisfied with what happened with Budapest. She blew up the building. Young Antonia, Dreykov's daughter, was still there. I got my answer to Dreykov's daughter. Why it's gushing red. Yeah. Trailers are getting way too out of hand. I don't like how much teaser trailers they make to hype people. Raphael, how much of that is on us and how much of that is on them? Because I too don't like how much they're making, but I also have the responsibility, the ability to not watch. TV spots, I've been avoiding those. For Loki, I like Loki more for it. I can imagine if I watched the Loki trailers over and over and I studied how there was a politician Loki. Who is that? What does that mean? I can't believe they're going to get political in Loki. And I would have all these thoughts in my head. And then we would have got to the episode we just got to, and nothing would have came to fruition. I wouldn't want to live through that by studying these trailers. I'll watch them once to get a feeling of what's going on. And hopefully I can forget most of the trailer so that it's a brand new, fresh experience. I'll watch it because I'm too curious and out to watch it. I do need to know how in the Eternals trailer, I gotta know when they do the real trailer, that's not a teaser. I gotta know what's this film really about. What's the fighting gonna look like? So it's on me to watch the trailers. They do too much, and they do put too many in some trailers. Avengers Endgame, they didn't put Jack in it. It's the highest grossing film of all time. It was usurped by Avatar this year, but it was the highest grossing film of all time. There's nothing they could have added to that trailer. Like, they could have shown us Mjolnir lifting and left it there. And, we would have been like, oh my God, does Steve pick it up? I bet that's Tony. Hey, what if it's... They could have done that, but they didn't. And they didn't lose any money from it. This movie's circumstances were so different, returning from lockdowns and closures, that maybe they did need to sell us on some stuff. But what I was complaining about was in the first trailer, even before March of 2020. So that they shouldn't have put the skydive scene in the trailer. Oh, wow, Joe. Trailers tainted your viewing of the film? I knew it. And people wonder why I don't watch trailers. You're right. Don't watch any trailers. Keep up that energy, because you will love movies, films, and TV shows and everything that you watch if you don't watch the trailers. Video game trailers, don't watch them. Play and experience the game, if you know you're going to get the game. If you know you're an NBA fan, don't worry about the trailers. Just play the game. Never watch these trailers. If you're a guaranteed customer, you don't need it. Good morning. No, but for real, the trailer thing is such a double-edged sword, because you get the immediate, the thrill that you wanted to get. But what do you remember in a film? It's not the trailer. It's the experience you had when you saw it. And you don't want to ruin that 2 hours, 2.5 hours sometimes, by watching too much of the trailer. And if everyone, some of you guys are maybe just not listening to what I'm saying when I'm advising you not to watch trailers, that's cool. Take this advice. Watch the trailers once. Don't keep visiting them over and over again, because the sticking you know, some of you not gonna listen to that. I'll give you even more space. Watch a trailer once, okay? Then watch every video on YouTube of reactions. And then go watch the Easter egg breakdowns of the trailers. And then 3 days after that trailer comes out, then leave it in the past. Never revisit it. If you're going to do the trailer thing, just watch it, embrace it, live in it, swim in it, and then just drop it. Try to forget as much as you can, because when the film comes out, you'll be more happier. Okay? Those are Chillmonger's orders. I said doo-doo? Dodo? Hello, hello. I didn't hate the first couple of trailers, but the ton of trailers we get in the last couple of weeks gave away most of the action. You know who didn't watch those trailers? Chillmonger. Very happy I didn't do that. But you guys, take it from another YouTuber here, Flash by Night. What's up, Exar and Raffaele? I kind of click on them first, and then I go, oh, they're just saying hi to each other. Okay. The controversial stuff about this film, about it being against men, the villain of this film was a man. Miss me. There's a level of fragility from people who are just looking for that stuff. I'm okay with the message being trafficking women, making 1 out of 20 survive. That's a bad thing. That's what a villain does. I don't sympathize with the villain. I don't see him as a man, and I expect every characteristic of this man is going to represent manhood. I don't see it that way. We have a diverse pool of characters who can do different things and have different motivations, evil and good. That goes for heroes too. I don't look at the Black Widow as, okay, there's a way to do the female hero right. No, never. I'm never going to movies with that expectation. It's very restrictive of what you will allow and what you won't allow. So that kind of stuff, I wish someone was in here, bringing those things up so I can shoot them down. But like, because this is a one-sided argument, I don't, I'm misrepresenting that side by owning it right now. But I think it's stupid. I tried not to watch them. I changed the trailers. I changed it a million times while watching certain shows, sporting events. Do you watch wrestling? Because I find that pro wrestling is where I can get like advertisements in me, where I don't actually change the channel. I thought too many windows survived though. I don't want them to make the widows a kind of evil Dora Milaje. I don't think that's happening. An evil Dora Milaje. Come on now. They literally made a heavy Harvey Weinstein ripoff, and Milena had no consequences for her actions. Milena did have no consequences for her actions. She was put through the Widow's Red Room program 4 times. She was affected by the pheromone control thing. Her life could have ended at any time. The widows who were freed also had control over themselves. So they can relate to other widows, whether it's the former widows who created these programs that scouted out, which is what Milena did. Milena created programs, scouted out these girls to who has the best reflexes, who has the best this and that. And she's the reason why Natasha was scouted, and all 30 of those widows. That's too many widows, according to Raffaele. They can sympathize with her. Even Taskmaster, who we all hate, it was reskinned, regendered. Even Taskmaster, when it was freed from Natasha, she just wanted to know, is he gone? Because even she knew, yeah, I'm under control. I know that you're Natasha. She knows Natasha's the one who blew her up. She just cared about, am I free from the control? So when we talk about consequences for Rachel Weisz's character, Milena, but for what? She was really forced to. She could have died if she had not, If she didn't do her research, she would have died. If she didn't continue adding to the Red Room program, she'd have died. None of it was like free will stuff, except for when she decided to snake Dreykov and join the good guys. Raphael goes, I thought too many widows survived. He said, Dora Milaje. A duder. Hello. Did you post a review? I had not watched it yet. I love Florence Pugh in this film. Yeah, I love Florence Pugh because she did Fighting with My Family, the Page film, another wrestler. And then now in this film, she's fighting with her family. Full circle. Full circle. Melina was involved, but was also a victim of. I could have said that. She was a victim of the Red Room programming. Yeah, there you go. Basically what I just said, except you summarized it. Melina, the character, wasn't anything special to me. Neither was the Red Guardian Alexei. I think he was supposed to be funny. It was funny seeing him get shot at by darts. 1 dart, 2 darts, 3 darts. Timber. Great joke there. Physical comedy translates to all of these countries who are going to watch this film, and I like that. The scene where he goes, "Farewell, douchebags." He says that in the Russian language when he's on the helicopter leaving the prison. That's not going to translate well to other people because swear words may be funny to us. They're not funny to everybody in this world of like 200 countries. Yeah, she was Paige in the film. Saraya Jade Bevis. The AMBW channel. Do I know you? I'm not sure who you are, sir or ma'am. There's 2 of you guys in the picture. Hey, hi. Good to see you. You got your own channel, I see. Hope it's doing well. What do you cover? Hi. Do I know you at the AMBW channel? Oh. I still think if you can't read a comic, you shouldn't make a comic film. Isn't that what Jack Schaefer? Isn't that what either the director or the screenwriter? One of them said that. Ashley would know. She told me. Fighting with My Family was so good. Yeah, it was all right. And Midsummer. Never saw Midsummer. I know Florence Pugh was in there, but yeah, those 2 films got her on the radar, and here she is now. She's got a Marvel gig forever. Like they hired her when she can't be older than 26. Like she's pretty young right now, so they got her nice and young. I don't mean that in that way, but nice and young for casting, where she can continue and do physical action for the rest of her days. Taskmaster sucks. More like Trash Master. Always walking to his prey, her prey. Also, I enjoy Taskmaster. The change doesn't bother me for a few reasons. I would love to hear the few reasons. The reason the change bothers me is because it was changed, period. It was changed. It's something that was not, and now they made it so. Bothers me. But then I can remove that. Like when I watched the Deadpool 2 film, Domino, she had a white patch, but her skin was black. I'm not going to be mad every single moment Zazie Beetz Domino is on screen. I dislike the idea that the decision that they made during casting. But then once I'm in the movie, okay, I'm in the movie and I'll watch it. But yeah, I don't agree with the Taskmaster swap. It's Token Master. You see, Exar Kun is correct. They're tokenizing. They're trying to be like, we got to have a diverse pool. We got to have a woman represented. Let's make Taskmaster a woman. In a way. They also did it in a great way by making it Dreykov's daughter, which was a great twist. I would have never thought that little thing didn't die, grew up, and is now the Taskmaster herself. That was a cool thing. Jack Schaefer, okay. Kate Shortland would be the director. For me, problem with Taskmaster is not the gender bend. Oh, then what is? It's the fact of her arc. It's really too shallow. Yeah. And the character got nothing to show. They haven't even write it. And the character got nothing to show. They haven't even write it. They didn't write it properly? Yeah. Too slow, too shallow, and the character got nothing to show. They haven't even write it. Trashmaster will return in SJW. Or are you just trolling now? Are you a real person? So, as a long-term storytelling, I think there's a chance that this character wasn't Taskmaster. No, it's not the Mandarin. This is Taskmaster. I think they called the character the Taskmaster Protocol, was not actually Taskmaster. I don't see it that way. You say, I'm optimistic that this may end up being more like Trevor Mandarin. I don't see it that way, but that's the way you see it. Cool. Trinity goes, it passes the Birchdale test, which basically makes this a true feat in cinematic masterpiece, finally. If I knew what that was, I'd probably laugh. The only find value in the straight white male characters, if they wanted a female character, they would have used one of the many female mercs in Marvel. Taskmaster has popularity. Taskmaster has that other female mercs wouldn't have. Maybe they just don't care about Taskmaster the way you and I do, or others do. That's the place of Taskmaster. It's so small that we could do a gender swap. That's the way they viewed him. That's the way that they treated Taskmaster in this film, where they, whatever. Taskmaster is disposable and changeable, swappable. That's what they can do. That's on them, and I don't expect to see Taskmaster later in another film. And I'm not gonna consider Antonia Taskmaster now that I've seen the face. That's the thing with Taskmaster, we haven't seen the face. I need to watch this film again. It was a joke. There was some article about it. You think I read articles? Come on now. They got lines for her. No emotions because she was mind controlled. She didn't have lines except, he dead? Come on. How can you get on board? It's because the movie wasn't called Taskmaster. It was called The Black Widow. Really? Is this really that much of a, I don't know, talking point here with Taskmaster? How about other characters like Dreykov? Wasn't he a great villain? Let's talk about that. The way that he performed and how evil he was, meeting with Condoleezza Rice and Vladimir Putin. This guy's just been everywhere with all these world leaders in the shadows, but he's meeting them. He's controlling stuff. I love that message of, it's sort of like the Winter Soldier message that who's really in control. It's about the surveillance state of the world and how much of security is at the cost of privacy. And this guy could topple governments and stuff with his powers, with his influence that he's got with these widows back in 2016, at least. I want to know what the effect of that is, because in main Marvel timeline, the Loki show, I shouldn't use that. That's outside of time. The Falcon and Winter Soldier show happened 6 months after the blip. They're still in year 2023 in the Marvel timeline. Let's see what 7 years without a Red Room and Dreykov influencing things means. I wonder what he was going to say when he was interrupted by Natasha. There's like 50 people in the world. And then she interrupts him. What about these 50 people? Are there 50 men who run shit? That's believable to me. I might be repeating myself from my review that I performed, I recorded yesterday. Check that one out if you haven't already. I don't want to repeat myself with everything I say here, but there's going to be opinions that I'm going to rehash. I'm into that stuff. Call me a conspiracy theorist. Every police investigation starts with the theory. Then they prove whether or not it's true, whether it's not. I think Dreykov was a very nice character. The actor delivery sold me 100%. The villain in control. Very good. Good. Who else is here who likes Dreykov? Because that was great. Exar, the Bechdel test is a joke a writer made about having females in a scene and not talking about womanly stuff or men, but people took it seriously. I enjoyed Dreykov, spell check. I also loved the pull from the Loki widow conversation from Avengers. They quoted that a little bit too much. Dreykov's daughter. Um, Thank you for your cooperation. That's a callback. That one's a callback. But the ways that they use Dreykov's daughter too much in this film, right? Could call her Antonia. Come on now. Now we got the Black Widow Corps. Yeah. None of them stuck out. None of the Black widows stuck out. I don't want to see them the same way we saw Io pop up in an episode of Falcon Winter Soldier. Don't have the desire. I hope these women, well, they can't have kids, but I hope that they live happily ever after. Find partners. Just do your thing. Maybe they can be the Wings, Daughters of Liberty. Isn't that Captain America's like crew of girls? Maybe they can turn into something like that. Maybe Elena can call them when she needs backup one time. Maybe if they do an all-females film, they can appear there. But I don't want to see these girls involved in any. They're free. Go live free. Go be free. That's what I wanted Yelena to be also, but I guess Yelena's got to avenge Hawkeye. Avenge Natasha. She's got the wrong idea. How could she think that Hawkeye is the one responsible? What do you know? You were not on Vormir. You were not on that planet. You didn't go to the quantum realm. What? It's not Hawkeye's fault. It's not Nebula's fault either. I saw someone on YouTube say that. Nebula knew what was going to happen. No, Nebula didn't know. All Nebula knew was the location of Vormir because that's what Gamora told her. Didn't know that that was the did she? Nebula was when Infinity War when they were fighting Thanos and when Star-Lord blew it for everybody. Nebula's like, yeah, she went to Vormir. He came back alone. Yeah, Nebula did know that's what was going to happen. Yeah. Ooh. And Nat doing the thank you for your cooperation. It made you actually smile. Good. That was the point. I was also sucked in by the Natasha Melina switch later in the movie. Good little spy film trick, a little espionage stuff. Remember the difference between a conspiracy and a fact is 8 months. You mean a theory and a fact is 8 months, yeah. It's always been a conspiracy. Thanks for joining me. Hello, Tony. Good to see you. She's lying. I hope you saw the film, Tony, because yeah, you did see it. I've seen enough people's chats. She's lying and manipulating, in my opinion. Everybody write the number that you would rate this film out of 10. Chillmonger gives it an 8 out of 10. Let's see where everyone is. I feel like the lowest you can possibly go for this is 6, and no one should go higher than 9. Because if you call this a 10 out of 10 movie, the special effects were not special enough. So don't say that. So write the rating of the film in the comments. One problem I got with later MCU stuff is that a lot of people seem to know details from other movies that doesn't really make much sense. They know without stretching things a bit too much. The knowledge thing for me, as a fan who knows everything, I'm happy with the way that they treat us like we should already know these things and characters already know these things that happened everywhere. Because I don't want to have to sit through they got to explain that to that. I like knowing that they are all in the know. It saves me from exposition. Adam gives it an 8 also. Yes. See? He has the right answer, everybody. He chooses 8. What do you all choose? Flash says 7.5 to 8. It was good, but not great for me. 7 out of 10. Because I haven't seen it in theaters would maybe be an 8. Yeah, that affects me also. Thanks for bringing that up. If I did know this movie and I had the full experience, maybe if I was in a chair that rocked left and right, 4DX. I heard Tyrone Magnus on YouTube say that that's how he saw it. I would love to see that flying scene in a 4DX chair. Guys, and I'm not shilling for anybody. I don't get paid by anybody. The movie experience 4DX, whether it's Screen X, where there's 3 screens, whether it's IMAX, always do it. 3D glasses, unless you wear glasses, unless there's an issue, pay the extra $3. Go and get your 3D experience. You can't replicate the first time you see something. Watch it in 3D. Because every other time you visit the film, it will be on a flat screen with a TV in front of you or a laptop in front of you. And you keep theaters around, like Cryptid was saying earlier in the live stream when he was writing. Shillmonger. Yeah, I saw that comment. If I was a shill, I'd do stuff like, check out my t-shirt shop that I got on teespring.com. There's a description in the link where you can get these t-shirts. You can also just sign up and join my Patreon account where I review things like the Sherlock show, the British show. What else am I doing? I gotta ask. I have to watch episode 2 and 3 of Sherlock. I'm gonna do that sometime this week. I'm gonna watch. I did a reaction to the end credit scene of this film of Black Widow. I shot it. I put it on YouTube. It's an unlisted video, and I'm like, cool. Now I'm gonna put it on Patreon. But then it said on YouTube, this has been flagged. This is not viewable anywhere worldwide. And so I go, shit, I don't want to get a strike. All right, cool. I'll just download the video. And now I have a file of the video, and that's going to go on Patreon, either on, maybe I have to make a brand new YouTube account, create it, post it. I don't know how I'll do it, but that's going to be on Patreon, my full reaction to the end credit scene of this film, which had, she called the dog Fanny. And Fanny Longbottom was one of Natasha's fake names on the ID. So calling the dog Fanny was a good little touch there. All that from your comments, which called me shillmonger. But yeah, end credit scene reactions coming. For example, Monica knowing Wanda almost got Thanos. It was weird, not impossible, but weird to hear them talk about stuff like they've seen in Endgame in a theater too. Yep. Also in WandaVision, remember when they were talking about the fighting that, Scarlet Witch gave Thanos a run for his money. I don't know if that fight went a little longer. Carol could have went and give her a punch, and you never know what could have happened. Just explain how they know, please. That would be nice. Then you won't have to keep hearing, you won't have to keep seeing them and hearing them say these things and having us confused. Yeah, just one little explanation would cover it all of how this became public knowledge. Or even just say the Endgame battle was public knowledge, the Infinity Battle. I don't really do 3D. Why? You don't wear glasses. But I did watch it in IMAX. Okay, there you go. You get that full experience. What I'm talking about, Trinity. You went with your boy. You said you had 2 friends that you went with, right? At least I don't prioritize 3D, and I won't do 3D if it's not IMAX. Ooh, now we're talking IMAX 3D. See, that's an extra like $5. But it's worth it. I'm telling you, it's worth it. Felt the same way when Val and Yelena were talking about what happened to Vormir. They didn't quote everything from Vormir. They have a distorted recollection of what happened on Vormir. They're wrong. She may be even lying to Yelena. Val may be a piece of crap. Flash goes, I wanted to watch it in the theater, but I found out that I could watch it as many times as I want with Disney Premiere. Yeah, you can. My economic brain took over. So if you were going to pay $30 for it, for Disney Plus, a movie ticket in America is at like $10. As long, like if you were going to see it 3 times, then you're getting your money's worth here by getting it on Disney Plus. But the theaters were the answer if you were only going to watch it once. Your economic brain took over. This is the Discord link for anyone who wants to chat to me about this, show. When this stream is over, I'm at 49 minutes in. Let's go like a few more minutes, and then I'll jump over to Discord if you guys want to actually speak with me. Next is Flash. Does this mean Avengers characters are gossiping? Yeah, it does mean that. To me, Iron Man can record everything from his suit. Soak and Pepper, Soak and War Machine. That's 3 views of what happened. Plus, the Avengers headquarters, maybe the security camera, which was on top of the building, could catch a little bit of action here and there. So there's 4 cameras of what happened. It's actually €20 in Italy. We pay it like $23 American. If I only viewed, that's a lot of money. That's a whole lot of money. If I only viewed it once, I would have definitely gone to the theaters, but I knew I was gonna watch it a few more times. That's us Marvel MCU fans. We just keep heading back for those films, but we don't do it for things like Venom and Morbius and Venom, Morbius. What's the other one? Craven the Hunter. I don't think I'm gonna see those once. But for the MCU, yeah, I can't see them enough. Got to study them, and I got to know what I'm talking about when I come on here and when I hit people up or when I disagree with an opinion. I got to be able to quote exactly what movie they said what. I've been doing that even before YouTube, but now like it's something that I love. I prefer, guys, as a comic book YouTuber, I prefer the movies over comic books. They're much more well written, as we can see from Black Widow. 8 out of 10, well written movie. It's the action which never spoke to me, but yeah, I prefer the neatness in movies than what we get with the messy sloppiness in comics, which has a hard time of keeping track of what each writer is doing. Even though these X-Men writers all have a Slack channel, they haven't been meshing with everybody properly, and that's why I dropped X-Men. Still looking forward to Morbius. He's a fave villain of yours? Cool. Because if Sony was doing a Riri Williams movie, I'd be there for that. So I can relate to that. The camera point is interesting. Who was recording the Clint and the Black Panther fight that we saw? It was at an airport. So, and the camera was from above. Let's watch the film, the Civil War film, one more time and see where a possible camera could have been to be recording that scene. Because directly above, I don't know. Yeah, that's a good question. The Way of X, and you found it weirdly nice. I read the first issue and second issue of Way of X. First was better than the second. They're doing that weird thing where here it is. Way of X is gonna have a spin-off. Instead of calling it issue number 6 of Way of X, they're making it look like where is it? They're just making a one shot of the actual issue where the Onslaught returns. X-Men Onslaught Revelation. And it's going to be a $5 book right there. It's called Elevation number 1. That's malarkey. It's actually issue number 6. When you call it number 1, the store is going to order more. They'll do the variant comic book cover thing too. Try to get you guys' money. I got to call it out. Can you imagine if Marvel did that? They had variant scenes. Like, you can watch X-Men Gold and you can watch X-Men Blue. This will have a variant intro. And the X-Men Blue will open up differently also. Can you imagine if they did that? Bruh. What I would do is buy a ticket to Gold, and I'd make sure that my Gold showtime starts 10 minutes after a Blue showtime starts. I hop in, I watch the beginning of Blue, then I'd go to my seat for Gold, and I've just seen both. Can you imagine if they did like that? Variant covers for movies? That'd be weird. I would like an X-Men Gold movie, X-Men Blue movie, if there were 30 extra minutes of content that are different from one from another. That would be cool. Like one movie would focus more on one mutant. That would be a great thing to do. Your battle against the number 6 issue shenanigans. Yeah. It's shenanigans. Shenanigans. Let's end the review there. End the live discussion there. Next time I talk about this topic, I'll make sure that I have co-hosts with me so that we can maybe have things to disagree on and fire shots at each other's opinions. And that's more important to me right now. Differing opinions and letting you guys, maybe I'll defend the part that I agree with, or maybe there are parts that I thought were really bad that someone loves and says that definitely should have stayed in the movie. Maybe there's people who think that about Fireflies. I feel like the movie could have been like 60 seconds shorter if we didn't have the mother explain fireflies as a kid, and we didn't have the film with the Avengers theme music playing as Natasha walks to the Quinjet, and then it goes over to the fireflies. We could have just cut that little bit out. Thanks for the live. I'll see you later. I'll see you in the Discord. The Discord is here one more time. If you want to join, then join the Discord, which I am putting in the live chat. It's already there. And broadcast. Take care.